dear students, I hope all of you are doing well. My name is Abhijit Devnath. I am working as an assistant professor at NIT Pharmacy Institute. So, we are actually continuing our learning on quality assurance. All of you are, I hope, highly interested to maintain the quality in your pharmaceutical industry, and you are trying to learn how you will be able to maintain the quality. So, this is the 10th lecture, and this time now I am going to tell you about the premises, including the design, how we will do the construction, the plant layout, and all the details I am going to share with you. So, what are the things I am going to teach you? I will tell you about the premises. I am going to tell you how you will design, how you will do the construction, and what will be the plant layout, the ancillary areas, storage areas, production areas, quality control areas, including processing operation, how you will process your entire operation. So, premises. So, it must be located, designed and constructed and maintained to suit for the operation should be carried out. You see, you should not start your activity in such area where it is actually not suitable for your activities, especially production activities. Okay. So, it should be located, designed and construct and adapted and maintained to suit for the all the operation activity. For example, you can see in this picture, they are working, they are discussing, they are trying to see all the industrial areas. So, you need a very large area, and the area should be slightly in a distance from a city, because in city you are actually producing your product, or you are obvious that in city there are huge number of people and there will be lots of wastage. There are chances your product might be get contaminated through air. So, that is why the location should be perfect and it should be designed and constructed in a perfect manner. Now, what should be the design, construction and plant layout? So, the layout and design of premises must be aimed to minimize the risk of errors and permit effective cleaning, minimize the risk of error. I hope all of you have heard about the Bhopal tragedy. In I think 1984, there was a tragedy in Bhopal, methyl isocyanate. It was actually come out and we have seen lots of people died. So, that is why there are chances of risk if you start one manufacturing unit. So, you should design in such a manner, so that there will be the minimum amount of risk. Also, permit effective cleaning. Sir, why effective cleaning? You see, we are actually producing pharmaceuticals. So, if you do not able to clean your area properly, what will happen? Microbes will contaminate your product. That is why effective cleaning. Also, maintenance in order to avoid cross contamination. This is a big problem in our industry about the cross contamination. So, right now the MNCs are actually doing a great practice. They have their entire system, so that they are actually right now able to avoid the cross contamination. Also, build up of dust, dirt, or in general any adverse effect on the quality of the product. See the word dust and dirt. Just few minutes back I have told you that why you should locate your industry from much more away from the city, because in city areas there are lots of vehicles, there are lots of gas, and there are lots of dust and other kinds of dirt are actually emitting from the vehicles and other activities. That is why it is very much necessary that your product should be free from all kinds of such issues. Then, where dust is generated? Dust is generated during the sampling, weighing, mixing, and also processing operation and also packaging areas. Here I am actually referring the dust from internal dust, that is from our industrial dust. If you are actually working in tablet section, you will be observing at first you are actually doing granulation. Granulation. But before granulation there is another task. This is called sieving. In sieving, what are we actually doing? We are actually sieve all these things, all this our starch, our lactose and other things. So, at that time during sieving and at that time there will be chances and lots of dust actually may come. So, such things should not be hampered. So, measures should be taken to avoid such cross contamination and facilitated cleaning. Premises should be situated in an environment that when considered together with measures to protect the manufacturing process and present minimum risk of causing any contamination. See, again and again I am using the word contamination, because maximum of the time we are facing quality related issue just because of the contamination. Okay. And premises used for the manufacture of finished product should be suitably designed and constructed to facilitate good sanitization. See, suitably designed and construct to facilitate good sanitization. You see, in industry, when we do our sanitization, we are not using same sanitizing agent for every day. We are never use same sanitizing agent for every day. We are actually changing, because all of you are aware that microbes, especially the bacteria, they have the ability to do mutation. There are chances they might be get mutated and they become resistant with our the sanitizing agents. So, that is why I have used the word designed. You should design in such a manner that in every week you should be using a different sanitizing agents. For cleaning, you should be use different cleaning agents. Okay. For example, where I have actually worked in my industry, we are actually utilizing Cresol in one day, and the for whole week we actually used to Cresol. Next week we actually used to Dettol, and after the 1 week, the next week we used to use a different substance. Okay. So, you have to design in such a way so that the cleaning facility should be correct. Also, premises should be carefully maintained, and it should be ensured the repair and maintenance operation and do not present any hazards of the quality of the product. Do not have any kinds of hazards. Hazards are very dangerous. Hazards will create a great problem, not only your product, also your working people. Those are working for you in your production or in your quality control or quality assurance. Those workers, they will be suffer because of the hazards. I do not want to mention, I do not want to tell you the name of few pharma companies or few textile companies, where I have seen lots of reports that the working personnel, after working for 5 years, 10 years or 20 years, the people are actually suffering from various lung related diseases, because they failed to maintain the hazardous substances in their industry premises. So, that is why my dear students, you are learning pharmacy, you should ensure, because you see we are actually doing a great work, we are trying to save the life of the people by making the pharmaceutical products. But if our own worker, if our own people, if they do not able to live a very good life just because of the hazards, if you do not control the hazards, and if they may get contaminated and they may suffer lung related diseases, it is a great what I can say, it is a great loss for us. So, that is why you should when you will design, you should do in such a manner, so that do not present any hazards in the quality of the product. Also, the maintenance and other area should be also you should take it carefully. The premises should be cleaned where applicable. Disinfectant according to the details written procedure should be maintained. You see, disinfection is actually happening here in this area. I hope all of you have heard the word called superbug. Superbug actually right now is a buzzword in our today's 21st century, because with passing of time we are observing microbes are actually getting mutated. There is a very great term called antibiotic resistance or antimicrobial resistance, drug resistance. These words were actually listening. So, if you develop some product, some antibiotic, another thing I like to mention you, in many of the industries you will be observing a separate wing called beta lactam. Okay. There will be a separate unit, because whatever the product we are actually producing for this thing for microbes, we are actually producing in a separate department, and we have to ensure our proper these things called disinfection. Also electric supply, lighting, temperature, humidity, validation should be appropriate and such that they do not adversely affect or direct or indirectly or either the pharmaceutical products during the manufacturing and storage and accurate functioning of the equipment. Very important slide. I hope, let me remove, I hope all of you may just take a slide, a screenshot. If you are listening this lecture from your mobile, you may take one screenshot. This is very important. Why sir it is very important? See, electric supply. In industry, you have to ensure electric supply for 24/7, 24/7. Why? Because it will be giving a great impact of the storage. You have to store your pharmaceuticals in a particular temperature. For example, in maximum cases we are actually that is storing in 25 degrees centigrade in maximum cases, but for some product it might be below than 25, it might be 0 degree, it might be that is less than 0. And also humidity, you have to, if you are producing some capsule or powder, humidity will be create a great issue. Okay, you have to maintain the humidity. Then usually in maximum products our humidity actually varies from 50 to 60% humidity, and ventilation should be also there, and also pressure, another thing actually pressure. So, these things are actually very much important. Okay. So, if many of the times we have seen due to power cut, due to power shortage or due to lack of power, when they have actually failed to get proper electricity, storage in storage whatever the product was there, that product actually due to a high temperature, that product actually got melted or it was altered. Okay. Then if I tell you more, premises should be also designed and equipped so as to afford maximum protection against the entry of the insects, birds and animal. See, we are learning pharmacy, especially the industrial aspects. Birds and animal, there are no chance for them to enter in our pharmaceutical areas. Not even birds and animal. If you visit a pharma company or if you in future if you may work with a pharma company, you will be observing not a single person is actually allowed. I know many of the pharma companies where the owner of the pharma companies, the owner of that particular company, they never visited their production area, they are never visited. They are also not allowed in the QC control department. You know why? Because unauthorized persons are not required. You have to ensure the quality, and yes, insects are completely not possible to come in the premises. Let me tell you one story. I do not want to take the name of pharma company. I think it was a time of 2015 or 16. There was an Indian pharma company. US FDA was actually doing inspection in India. Lots of pharma companies. US FDA also visited their company, and in their manufacturing unit they have done their entire inspection. Their satisfactory level was 100%, because they have maintained their files and records was very correctly, but at the end of inspection there was only one mosquito. There was only one mosquito present in that production area, and the quality control officer, the officer from US FDA, he has found, he has taken that as a sample, and their entire that is approval was actually cancelled. Can you imagine? Just because of the presence of one mosquito, US FDA cancelled their affiliation, and their product was not. After that they did a lots of work to ensure their quality. Again inspection was done, then they are actually allowed to sell their product in US. So, it is very important. Then also premises should be designed to ensure the logical workflow, material and the personnel. For example, you can see here are the working personnel, here is the that is a dispatch. So, if people are actually entering the warehouse all the things will be kept, and quality control people will go there, they will do some quality control check, and then after get approval of the all those things. Now, whatever things will be present in warehouse, first three things will be there. First is the raw material. First is the raw material. Second thing is the packing material. A third thing is the finished product. Okay, these three things will be there. So, QC and QA people, they will go there, take the sample, and after that they will give the approval, then it will come to the production area. In production area, they will produce capsules or tablet like this, and then some things and then same thing will be also checked by QC or QA. Obviously, some sample, if production area they are producing 3 million tablet in a day, all the 3 million tablet, it is not possible to check their quality. A sample, random sampling actually doing by many of the companies, they will take some sample, they will check in QC or QA, and then they will give the approval. When I was in industry, I also used to prepare 3 million tablet per day. Then after that, it will be scheduled for the other activity, inventory and purchase, and then it will have to be dispersed. Now, come to the ancillary area. So, rest and refreshment room should be separated from the manufacturing areas. Facilities for changing and storing clothes and washing and toilets purposes should be easily accessible and appropriate. Okay, for example, like ancillary areas, toilet should be communicated directly with the production and the storage areas. Very with maintaining the safety and with maintaining the hygienicity, we are actually doing the connection between the production areas and other things. Now, come to the storage area. Storage area should be sufficient capacity to allow orderly storage of the various categories of material and products with proper separation and segregation. With proper separation and segregation, starting and packing material, intermediates, bulk, finished product, also product in the quarantine, and release and rejected and return. So, all these things whatever I am actually highlighting here, all those things should be completely separated and segregated in the storage area. Storage is a very vast concept, and it is not a very simple work people actually used to refer. It is not a very simple. Usually, when I meet the young pharma people, young pharma students, they usually tell that, sir, I am happy to go in this thing called QC, QA or production. Many of the that is a less number of students actually telling that I want to go for the storage. Storage is very important. You have to maintain the temperature, you have to maintain the humidity, you have to maintain the pressure, then it should be free from any kind of microbes. There are lots of technical things are actually associated with the storage. Now, sir, what about the production area? In order to minimize the risk of serious medical hazards due to the cross contamination, and dedicated and self contaminated facilities must be available for the production of the particular pharmaceutical products, such as highly sensitizing material such as penicillin or biological preparation, for example, like live microorganisms. Okay. And the production of certain other highly active products such as antibiotics, hormones or cytotoxic substances, and certain pharmaceutical products should not be conducted in the same facilities. Whatever I am actually referring as in beta lactam, In my industry, there was a separate segment, separate department called beta lactam, where we actually used to produce the antibiotics. Why we are not producing antibiotics? The same area where actually we producing the tablets like multivitamins, like the other kinds of dexamethasone, other kinds of things. Why? Because if you bring all the antibiotic drugs in common area, there are chances of contamination. Microbes might be there, they might be get that is resist with those drugs. Okay. And the manufacture of the technical poisons such as pesticides, herbicides should not be allowed in the premises used for the manufacturing of the pharmaceutical products. Production area should be effectively ventilated with the air control facilities appropriate to the products and the operation undertaken and the external environment. It should be regularly monitored to ensure the compliance with the with their design specification, and premises for their packing of pharmaceutical product should be specifically designed to avoid the mix up and cross contamination. If I tell you the quality control area, because as of now we have seen the storage, we have seen the production area. Now, let me tell you the quality control area. quality control laboratories should be separated from the production area. Okay. In many of the industries, you will be observing there is separate building or separate floor only for QC. Okay. Biological, macrobiological or radioisotopes tested methods employed should be separated from each other, because otherwise there will be lots of issues, there will be lots of problem, and you to sort out that problem, it will be taking huge amount of time. By that time you will be getting huge amount of samples to evaluate. So, that is why you should separate, you should maintain those things. Quality control laboratories should be designed to suit operation to be carried out in them, and sufficient space should be given to avoid the mix up cross contamination. So, it is a very big problem actually in industry, cross contamination. That is why again and again I am actually trying to tell you. Now, what about the processing operation? So, before any processing operation is started, steps should be taken to ensure that work area and equipment are actually completely clean and free from any starting material and also products and product residues, labels and documents that is not required for the current operation. There is something called line clearance. Yeah, there is something called line clearance. If you are working as a production chemist, you will be getting line clearance from the QA chemist. If you are a production chemist, you will be getting the line clearance from the QA chemist. QA chemist will come to your department, come to your area, they will check, they will maintain the cleanliness, also they will check whether any residue is present or not. After that, they will give the clearance. And then how you will process after doing all such things, production, QC, QA, storage. Now, how you will process, how the entire activity will be happen. You see, any necessary in process quality control or environmental control should be carried out and be recorded. In process, I am saying, I am actually referring in process quality control. Okay. So, or any significant deviation from the accept yield should be recorded and investigated. Time limits for storage and equipments after cleaning should be and before use should be stated based on data, and containers for the filling should be cleaned before the filling, and attaining should be given to avoid the removing or contamination such as glass fragments and other things. Any significant deviation from the expect yield should be recorded and investigated, because this will be creating great impact to your product. Checks should be carried out to ensure that pipelines and other pieces of the equipment used for the transportation products from one area to another, and also repair and maintenance. This is very important also. Repair and maintenance operation should not be present any hazards to the quality of the product. And yes, lastly the packaging. When the program for packaging operation is being set up, particular attention should be given to minimizing the risk of the cross contamination and mix of the substitutions. Different products should not be packed in the same close proximity unless there is a physical segregation or an alternative system. And also before packaging operation actually begin, steps should be taken to ensure that the work area, packaging lines, printing machines and other equipments are completely cleaned, and also free from any kinds of product or documents previously used and which are not required for the current operation. The name and batch of the number and other things should be also displayed, it should be recorded, and normally filling and sealing should be followed by the quick possible of the labeling. If labeling is not actually displayed, appropriate procedure should be applied to ensure no mix up and mislabeling. And after that, after completion of the all those process, the correct performance of any printing etc. should be done, and attention should be given to paid printing by hand. And here you can see how this is the primary, this is secondary, and there is a tertiary of with the printing. You should maintain all those things. Here is the great picture of how GMP is actually doing. So, I am not going to discuss more. So, today we have learned these things: premises, design, ancillary areas, storage areas, production areas, quality control, processing and GMP. Tomorrow I will tell you more about the things, utilities and maintenance, and how we will maintain the sterile area. Thank you all of you. Thank you for being with us. God bless you all. We may meet in our next lecture. Thank you.